Hello everyone, warm welcome to Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. मेरा नाम है माधव अरोड़ा. I welcome you all in the next session, which we call it as Finance Current Affairs. And in this session, we will be discussing the current affairs for 13th to 15th of September 2025. I hope I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. We are good to go. Okay then, fair enough. So I guess everything is fine. We are good to go. So guys, let's get started. Today I have changed the pattern of this particular session a little bit. What we will be doing is we will be starting with the news from the starting itself and we will be doing the revision part in the end of this particular session. ठीक है जी? बस इतना ही change किया, बाकी everything is same. If you haven't shared the link of this session with your friends, I would request you quickly share the link with your friends so that more and more students, they are aware that this session is live and they can join us in this particular session. So let's get started with the first news of the evening. But before that, if you want to download the PDF of this particular session, that will be available on my Telegram channel, which is Economics by Madhav Arora. Chalo. Here we go with the first news of the evening, and the first news of the evening is now on your screen. The news is related to a new appointment, and this new appointment is related to Rajiv Ranjan. No, it is Ravi Ranjan. Don't get confused. I hope you all are very well aware of this name, Rajiv Ranjan. Who is he? Sir, he is the Executive Director of RBI and he has also served as a member of Monetary Policy Committee, and right now he is the chairman of DEPR, that is the Department of RBI, and he will be completing his tenure, or he will be completing his services with RBI by September 2025, and after that he will be serving. Guys, do let me know in the comment section if I'm not wrong. He will be serving as the Vice President of NDB, that is New Development Bank. Say yes or no. Say yes or no. On the other side, the next appointment related to the banking sector is the Executive Director or ED to IMF, and this position has been announced where Dr. Urjit Patel will be serving as ED to IMF and he will be representing India along with Bangladesh, Bhutan. Got it? ठीक है. अब यहाँ पर एक और नई न्यूज आ जाती है. वो नई न्यूज क्या है? सर, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू रवि रंजन. रवि रंजन, who is currently the Deputy Managing Director of SBI. He will be appointed as the Managing Director of SBI as per the recommendation given by FSIB. I hope you all are very well aware of this particular term, that is FSIB. We all know that it stands for Financial Services Institutions Bureau, which was established back in 2022. Basically, this institute has replaced Triple B. Triple B was set up under the Indradhanush campaign, which was introduced, and this Indradhanush campaign was introduced on the recommendation of PJ Nayak committee. So under this Indradhanush campaign, it was 7 areas which were basically targeted in order to promote the banking sector of the economy, where A was for related to the appointments, B was Triple B, then it was recapitalization, de-stressing, reinforcement and many more. तो उसके तहत जब ये इंद्रधनुष कैंपेन को लॉन्च किया गया on the recommendation of PJ Nayak committee, Bank Board Bureau was set up, which was basically responsible for recommending the names of the heads of the public sector banks. Later on, due to the court decision, there were some issues with the PPB existence, and therefore PPB was replaced by a new institute, that is Financial Services Institution Bureau, which is operating under the Department of Financial Services, which is operating under the Ministry of Finance. If I talk about FSIB, sir, it acts as a headhunter for the leadership roles in the public sector banks, as well as the public sector insurance companies and other state-owned financial institutions. They recommend the name of the chairman, managing director, CEO, as well as the whole-time directors. The current chairperson of FSIB is Bhanu Pratap Sharma. He was earlier the chairperson of PPB. He was earlier the chairperson of Triple B, and now he is appointed as the chairperson of the newly carved out organization or which has replaced triple B. The name is still the same. That is Bhanu Pratap Sharma. Coming back to the news. So the news says Financial Services Institution Bureau has recommended the name of Rajiv Ranjan, the Deputy Managing Director of SBI, as a next Managing Director of State Bank of India. This recommendation has been forwarded to the Appointments Committee of the Cabinet, which is headed by Prime Minister, and once the final approval is given by the Appointments Committee of the Cabinet, then Ravi Ranjan will be serving as the Managing Director, or will start serving as the Managing Director of SBI. If approved, Ravi Ranjan will succeed Vinay M. Tonse, who has his term going to end on 30th of November 2025. So if I talk about Ravi Ranjan, currently the Deputy Managing Director, Global Market SBI, banking career of more than 33 years, joined as a probationary officer in 1991. He has served as the Chief General Manager, Chennai Circle, Vice President SBI Singapore, Deputy General Manager, Overseas Branch, New Delhi, as well as the General Manager, Project Finance and Leasing Corporate Center, Mumbai. So these are his experiences. They are not important. This is just for your reference. Name is important and the name is Ravi Ranjan. एक चीज और, अगर हमसे कोई पूछे कि सर SBI के चेयरपर्सन का क्या नाम है, so the name is CS Sethi, and how many managing directors are there for SBI? So we have currently 4 managing directors of SBI: Ashwini Kumar Tiwari, Rana Ashutosh Kumar Singh, Rama Mohan Rao Amara, and the 4th one, Vinay Tonse, who is going to retire on November 2025, and most probably it is expected that he will be replaced by Ravi Ranjan, currently the Deputy Managing Director, and then he will be serving as the Managing Director of SBI. Got it? Clear है? Easy है? चलो एक question solve करते हैं. Consider the following statement about the Ravi Ranjan recommendation as SBI Managing Director. Ravi Ranjan is currently the Deputy Managing Director of SBI. That is true. He is set to succeed CS Sethi, whose term is going to end on 30th of November. Wrong, sir, because CS Sethi is not the Managing Director. He is the chairperson. He is going to replace, or he will be taking up the position which is going to be vacant after the retirement of Vinay Tonse. The recommendation was made by Financial Service Institution Bureau. True. The final approval will be given by Appointments Committee of the Cabinet. True. FSIB interviewed 9 candidates before recommended Ravi Ranjan. Honestly, I don't know. So I'll now go for the options. As per the options, second statement is wrong. So if second statement is wrong, I am left with only one option. So A option is my correct answer. Because honestly, ऐसे जब questions आपके exam में आए, I have come up with this type of option intentionally. So if this type of option comes in your examination, जहाँ RBI को पता है कि 99.9% कैंडिडेट्स को ये नहीं पता होगा और पता होना जरूरी भी नहीं है, then they will be helping you with the options. Trust me, in that particular case, you can easily eliminate the option to find out the correct answer. तो यहाँ पे जो हमारा correct answer बन जाएगा, that will be A option. समझ आया? Clear हो गया? Give me a thumbs up so that I can move on to the next news. What does the next news talks about? So the next news talks about ICRA has predicted the India's GDP growth estimate. The question is कि सर इतने साल हो गए या इतने महीने हो गए आपसे करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ते हुए, फाइनेंस करंट अफेयर्स, आप हमेशा ये कहते थे कि जो जीडीपी रिलेटेड डेटा है दैट इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट, इट इज चेंजिंग, इट इज वॉलेटाइल इन नेचर. तो आज आप क्यों बता रहे हैं? द रीजन इज ऑन 18th of October you have an examination and it's quite obvious ICRA will not come up with the new recommendations before 18th of October. तो ये जो आपकी recommendation है, these are the final recommendations which are going to come in September month as well as in the October month. So from today onwards, from 15th September technically onwards, we will be covering all the GDP estimates which have been given by different organizations so that you can answer the questions pretty well in the examination. So according to ICRA, India is expected to grow at a rate of 6.5%. That means India's GDP growth estimate is expected to be 6.5%. Why this is in news? Because her earlier expectation was 6%. So as per the earlier expectation, it has been revised to 6.5%. Second point is, so the same estimate has been given by RBI. RBI is also expecting that Indian economy is going to grow by 6.5%. Along with that, if I talk about the Fitch rating, as per the latest Fitch rating, it has come up with the, I would say, over positive ratings for India, and the rating is 6.9%. So according to Fitch rating, we are expecting that Indian GDP is going to grow at a rate of 6.5%. And why these revisions have been done? So these revisions have been done because of the unexpected results for the first quarter of 2025-26. In the first quarter of 2025-26, India recorded 6.7% of GDP growth, and secondly, India's GDP growth is relying majorly on the domestic consumption or on the domestic demand, due to which the rating agencies as well as the other institutes, they are expecting that Indian GDP is going to do pretty well in this current financial year, because if it has done so well in the first quarter where the geopolitical tensions were at its peak, especially the tariff situation was pretty uncertain, since still India was in a position, or India has achieved a percentage of 6.7%, that means India is going to do pretty well. So इसके ऊपर उन्होंने ये estimates दिए हैं. So GDP growth estimate 6.5%, quarter first 6.7%. उसके अलावा they have talked about bank credit growth, they have talked about NBFC credit growth, which you can just read. I will not suggest you to memorize it, but this is very important. What it says that what are the reasons behind this recommendation. If I talk about the recommendations, or if I talk about the reasons behind this recommendation, the first reason is GST rate rationalization. So according to ICRA says that due to the GST rate rationalization, it is going to result in increase in 2 to 3 lakh crore rupees of funds into the public pocket, and that fund will be utilized by the public for the consumption purpose. So if they are going to increase their consumption, undoubtedly demand will increase, undoubtedly GDP will increase. So income tax reliefs, which has been announced especially for individuals with income up to 12 lakh rupees, front loaded government expenditures specifically on infrastructure, easing funding cost, easy loan, and that too at a low lending rates, favorable liquidity conditions. These are the reasons which has forced ICRA to revise its estimates from 6% to 6.5% that Indian economy is going to grow by 6.5%. ठीक है जी, मैं फिर से बता देता हूँ क्या क्या रीजंस है. सबसे पहला, strong performance of quarter 1, GST rationalization and tax rate cut, credit growth and lending momentum. So if the credit growth is positive, lending in the country is increasing, that means there is huge liquidity in the market, borrowing is easy, utilization of borrowed amount will lead to expansion of the economy, will lead to increase in demand, will lead to increase in overall growth of the GDP. Supportive policy and fiscal actions, for example, government has increased its capital expenditure, liquidity has remained abundant, funding cost easing help banks as well as NBFCs. And if I talk about the risk and moderation, there are asset quality stress, especially in MSME, retail and unsecured agents. Industrial and agriculture sector, they have cooled somewhat, which may moderate the growth in the coming quarter. So risk is still a point of concern, which is not a factor of, I would say, push. It is a factor of breaking the momentum. So that is first one, that is the risk related to the asset quality, and second is moderation in the industrial and agriculture growth. But still we are, and the other organization being positive, expecting a huge growth rate for the Indian front. तो मैंने अब क्या किया, जितने भी लेटेस्ट डेटाज हैं उन सबको मैंने आपके लिए एक ही स्लाइड पर इंक्लूड कर लिया है. प्लीज पे अटेंशन. सो दीज डेटाज आर रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. According to ICRA, 6.5%, RBI 6.5%, IMF 6.4%, SBI research reporting 6.3 to 6.8%, OECD 6.3%, and if I talk about the Fitch, which is over positive, it has come up, or it has recently revised India's GDP growth estimates, which was earlier 6.5%, has been increased to 6.9%. Guys, ये जो की ड्राइवर्स हैं ये मैंने आपके लिए स्पेशली टाइप किए हैं, आप पढ़ लेना, ताकि जब आप एक डिस्क्रिप्टिव आंसर लिखने लगो, यू कैन यूटिलाइज दीज रीजंस विच विल सपोर्ट योर आंसर दैट व्हाई वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग इंडियन इकोनॉमी टू ग्रो एट अ हायर पेस. इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर गाइज? डन? ओके, चलो नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द क्वेश्चन. सर एग्जाम से पहले सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स का प्रेडिक्शन पढ़ा के जाना. हाँ ठीक है, मैं आपको सारा पढ़ा दूंगा, पढ़ के जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, अब मेरे पे छोड़ दो. मैं आपको अपनी क्लास में जो मैराथन सेशन लूंगा एग्जाम से एक आधे दिन पहले, उसमें करवा दूं। ठीक है जी, डन हो गया। चलो अगला पॉइंट। अगला पॉइंट कहता है कि हमारे पास एक क्वेश्चन है, रीड आउट द क्वेश्चन। Consider the following statement regarding India's GDP growth rate for 2025-26. ICRA revised that India's GDP growth will be 6.5%. True. RBI kept its GDP forecast unchanged, 6.5%. True. IMF downgraded. No, sir. IMF says that India's GDP will going to grow by 6.3%. SBI lower 6.3%. Fitch, that is absolutely correct, 6.9%. So I will go with B option. 1, 2, 4, 5 are correct, but the third option is incorrect. Moving on to the next news, जो मैंने अभी आपको टेबल दिखाया उस टेबल पे एक न्यूज लेकर आया हूं। OECD projects that India's GDP growth rate is going to be 6.3%. That is absolutely correct. नहीं याद, मैं बता रहा हूं। According to IMF, the GDP of India is expected to be 6.4%. True. Fitch 6.9%. According to RBI 6.5%. All agencies agree that muted private investment is a major risk factor. Muted private investment is a major risk factor. नहीं sir, it's not a risk factor, not at all, क्योंकि ऐसा हुआ ही नहीं। अगर ऐसा हुआ ही नहीं तो वो रिस्क फैक्टर होगा ही नहीं। तो इसमें आंसर क्या बनेगा? 1, 2, 3, 4, बी ऑप्शन इज करेक्ट। अगर आपसे कोई पूछे कि क्या रिस्क फैक्टर है, इंडस्ट्रियल एंड एग्रीकल्चर ग्रोथ मॉडरेट हुई है, दैट इज अ रिस्क फैक्टर, एंड द असेट क्वालिटी is declining, especially for the loan which is given to the MSMEs and the loan which is given by the NBFCs. बस ये दो ऐसे पॉइंट्स हैं। म्यूटेड का मतलब है म्यूट करने का मतलब हम कहते हैं ना वॉल्यूम म्यूट कर दो, मतलब बंद कर दो। इसका मतलब प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट हैज म्यूटेड, इट मींस इट हैज डिक्रीज, इट हैज स्टॉप्ड इन दैट मैनर इट हैज बीन यूज्ड। तो प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट पे तो यहाँ पे कोई डिस्कशन हुआ ही नहीं, बल्कि प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट इज द ड्राइवर ऑफ ग्रोथ। सो दैट इज नॉट द रीजन बिकॉज ऑफ विच it is considered as a risk factor. Risk factor is industrial and agriculture growth rate has been moderated. First point. Second is the asset quality is declining, especially the loan given to MSMEs as well as unsecured lending which has been done by the banks. Got it? Moving on to the third news of the day. The third news is related to Asian Development Bank. I hope you all are very well aware that Asian Development Bank possesses its headquarters in Manila, Philippines. Remember that Asian Development Bank possesses majority members from the Asian continent, and Japan is the largest contributor to the Asian Development Bank, and Japan holds the majority or the maximum or the highest votes or voting, I would say highest voting capacity in the Asian Development Bank. So recently a loan agreement has been signed worth $126 million from the Asian Development Bank to the Government of India. So Asian Development Bank is going to provide a loan of $126 million to the Government of India. Borrower or beneficiary Government of India as well as Government of Uttarakhand, they are going to be the borrowers, and lender is none other than Asian Development Bank. This agreement was signed back on 11th of September 2025. So this loan agreement has been signed in Tehri Lake region, that is the Tehri Garhwal district of Uttarakhand. So the area is identified as one of the Uttarakhand's most climate vulnerable and economically disadvantaged district, and due to this particular reason, for developing the sustainable tourism in this particular district, this borrowing has been done from Asian Development Bank. So what are the purposes of this borrowing? The project is to promote rural development via sustainable, inclusive and climate resilient tourism in Tehri Lake area. What are the key objectives? First one, enhance tourism, enhance sanitation and waste management, disaster preparedness, institutional strengthening for better governance and planning, as well as inclusive tourism services which involve women, youth, persons with disability, private sector as well as MSME, which will promote the overall economy of the district. So what are going to be the benefits? According to this tie-up, around 87,000 people in the local region will enjoy the benefit. They will get the job, they will witness improved infrastructure and better services. Approximately 2.7 million, that is 27 lakh annual visitors are expected to gain from the improved facilities, sanitations and safe tourism. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया. So key interventions will be climate resilient infrastructure will be constructed, nature based solutions like green buffer zones, catchment restoration. Then we have sanitation waste management system, livelihood matching grants, universal access designs, and local disaster management, early warning. All these initiatives will be taken up under this particular time. Okay, what will be the significance of this initiative? Sir, Uttarakhand, especially the Tehri Garhwal, is prone to climate risks such as landslides, floods, cloudburst. Such an area need resilient infrastructure and disaster prepared measures. So tourism is a major livelihood source there. So making it sustainable ensure long-term economic benefit without degrading the environment. It will involve women, as I already discussed, and it aligns with the state strategy to make Uttarakhand a diversified all-weather tourism destination around the Tehri Lake. Now let's talk about the question on the same. Government of India, Asian Development Bank, loan amount $126.42 million. That is true. The project is titled Sustainable, Inclusive, Climate Resilient Tourism Development at Tehri Lake Area. True. The project will primarily benefit the Tehri Garhwal district in Uttarakhand. True. Around 2.7 lakh. 2.7 lakh or 2.7 million? It is million. अच्छा, तो यही गलत होगा ना, sorry. ठीक है, तो around 2.7 million visitors are expected to benefit from the improved facilities. The agreement was signed between Government of India, ADB, and Uttarakhand as the implementing state. That is true. So answer is going to be option 2.7 lakh nahi, it is 2.7 million. Moving on to the next news, and next news is again related to ADB. तो फिर से याद करवा दूं, Rajiv Ranjan, Urjit Patel, Ravi Ranjan, and now we have the fourth name, that is L. Satya. That says that L. Satya is now appointed as the executive director at Asian Development Bank. So recently the appointments committee of the cabinet under the chairperson, that is none other than Honorable Prime Minister of India, has appointed L. Satya Srinivas as the executive director, India's executive director at Asian Development Bank. He is currently special secretary in the Department of Commerce under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. He will succeed Vikas Sheel as India's executive director at Asian Development Bank. So very important news again. Tenure, he will be serving as executive director at Asian Development Bank till 28th of February 2026. Thereafter, he will continue on a contract basis with a total service period not exceeding 3 years from the date he assumes the charge or until further orders, whichever is earlier. So Srinivasan, he has been appointed till 28th of February 2026. Uske baad he will be allowed to continue if required on contractual basis up to 3 years. So the maximum tenure cannot be more than 3 years, but this time the tenure which has been announced, that is 28th of February 2026. Significance, his appointment is notable because it breaks the usual dominance of Indian Administrative Service officers and economists in the executive director post for India at Asian Development Bank, but Srinivas from the Indian Revenue Services will be heading this position. So he will be representing Bangladesh, Bhutan, Laos, Tajikistan as well as Turkmenistan. So he will be representing all of them along with India. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया point. Now let's try to talk about the Asian Development Bank. As I already discussed, largest position is with Japan, second largest is US, and the fourth largest shareholder in the Asian Development Bank is none other than India. Lending or investment to India as of April 2025, ADB has committed $59.5 billion in sovereign lending to India and $9.1 billion in the non-sovereign investment in the country. I have a question, guys. Recently, we have talked about development, specifically the 6 district development in Assam. For that particular purpose, lending was done by which organization? Any idea? Any idea? Anyone can give me the answer to this question? Achha, I have a question in the comment section which says कि सर ये जो आपने term लिखा है superannuation, इसका मतलब क्या है? So whenever this term is asked, remember that superannuation basically means a long-term plan to support an individual's uh, day-to-day operations. So sometimes it is also written as super. So it is a type of, we can say, कैसे बताऊँ, ये बड़ा ही सिंपल सा वर्ड हम बहुत बार यूज करते हैं. आप ऐसा समझ लो, सुपरन्यूएशन का मतलब है व्हेन समवन टेक्स ओवर द प्लेस ऑफ अदर. जब आपकी प्लेस कोई और ले ले, दैट मीन्स ही हैज सुपर एनुएटेड यू. यू कैन टेक इट इन दिस मैनर. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया? क्लियर हो गया ये टर्म? इफ इट इज क्लियर जस्ट गिव मी यस सर. हाँ जी, मैंने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा असम से रिलेटेड, वो मुझे आप बताइएगा जरा. रिटायरमेंट सेविंग प्लान नहीं बेटा, रिटायरमेंट सेविंग प्लान से तो इसका कोई लेना देना नहीं है. वो तो आपने कहीं ना कहीं गूगल पे सर्च किया होगा, तो वहां पे आपको ये सेविंग वर्ड आ गया होगा. सुपरन्यूएशन यहाँ पे जो वर्ड यूज हुआ है, दैट इज इन अ कॉन्टेक्स्ट दैट ही विल बी रिप्लेस्ड. इफ not then he will be continuing at the contract, because he is going to formally complete his tenure by 28th of February 2026. ADB is correct. That is absolutely the correct answer. चलो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते हैं. Appointment committee of the cabinet chaired by President of India approved the appointment. No sir, it is not chaired by President of India. This is chaired by Prime Minister of India. L. Satya Srinivas is a 1991 batch. That is true. He succeeded Vikas Sheel. True. His tenure is fixed for 5 years without extension. No. He will also represent countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, Laos. That is correct. So according to this, answer is going to be 1. Sorry, 1 is wrong. 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 5. So according to me, B option is absolutely the correct answer. ठीक है जी? 2, 3, 5 is the correct answer. So keeping that in mind, I hope it is clear to everyone. Shall we move ahead? Okay, moving on to the next news, guys. What does the next news says? The next news is very important. NABARD to launch CDPI platform for RRBs. First of all, why this is important? See, we all know that regional rural banks, there has been a new initiative by the government implemented, that is one state, one RRB. So in order to improve the operations after the merger of these RRBs, this initiative has been taken by NABARD. Let's try to understand what is it. Please pay attention. NABARD is preparing to launch a centralized digital credit infrastructure, for regional rural banks. What is the aim of this platform? So this platform basically aims to digitalize and automate credit loan processing, improve risk assessment, speed up dispersals, and make RRBs more competitive related to NBFCs as well as microfinance institutes. So basically NABARD, the supervising authority, or which is the supervisor of RRBs, undoubtedly the RBI is the regulator. So NABARD being supervisor, in order to make the lending process more efficient on the behalf of RRBs, NABARD has given up a proposal that it will be launching centralized digital credit infrastructure. So this platform is basically trying its level best to digitize and automate the credit or loan processing which is done with the RRBs. अब क्या है कि आज की डेट में जो RRBs हैं, they are not performing really very well if we compare them to the microfinance institutes as well as the NBFCs, जिसकी वजह से obviously they are not in a position, or they generally not able to capture the customers in an appropriate manner. So in that particular scenario, it has been witnessed that some initiatives should be taken to improve the efficiency, quality of services, so that more and more customer acquisition can be done by RRB. So in order to do that, common digital platform being set up for the RRBs, which will handle the entire loan or credit process in a faster, paperless, and more standardized manner. So many RRBs today, they still depend on manual loan processing, which takes more time, which involves paperwork, as well as it increases the risk of error and fraud. But on the other side, the competitors like NBFCs and microfinance institutes, they use technology to give quicker, more convenient loans to the rural customers. So in order to level the playing field, RRB need a modern system. So keeping this in mind, NABARD came in front and NABARD said that we are coming up with CDCI platform, first one, which will do 5 important operations, or which will provide 5 important benefits. First one, it will digitalize and automate the loan processing. Second is it will improve the risk assessment. Third is it will speed up the process of dispersal, standardize the system across RRBs, and enhance the competitiveness of RRBs. ठीक है जी. So why this has been done? As I said, to strengthen the RRBs under the government of India. Recently, one state, one RRB policy was constituted, which has decreased the count from 43 to 28 effective from 1st of May 2025. This consolidation is basically done to scale the RRBs, increase their efficiency and better governance, as well as to help them so that they can compete neck to neck with NBFCs as well as microfinance institutions. So one state, one RRB have been already discussed. I hope you all are very well aware. This reform was notified by the Department of Financial Services under the Ministry of Finance. It was the phase 4 consolidation of RRBs, where the consolidation has been done from 43 to 28 RRBs. These RRBs, these merged RRBs cover 22,000 plus branches across 26 states as well as 2 union territories. Now coming to the point कि सर ये जो CDCI है, इसके क्या क्या फीचर्स हैं. सबसे पहला, एंड टू एंड क्रेडिट प्रोसेसिंग डिजिटलाइजेशन. इसका मतलब कि सर एक पोर्टल बनाया जाएगा. उस पोर्टल पे बैंक बोरोअर से जो एप्लीकेशन रिसीव करेगा, उस पोर्टल पे उस एप्लीकेशन को अपलोड करेगा. उसी पोर्टल पर उस लोन का प्रोसेस होगा. प्रोसेसिंग के साथ साथ द एप्लीकेशन और दिस पोर्टल विल हेल्प यू to identify the risk associated with the given application. On the basis of the risk, approval will be given, and once the loan is approved, dispersal will be done, and through that application, through that portal only, the monitoring will be done. So it will come up with a faster turnaround, less manual paperwork, transparency, fewer errors, and better monitoring. Second point is integration with backend system. So linking to CIBIL, credit bureau, Aadhaar, land records, so that it will be easy to verify and take the decisions that whether the approval should be given or not, and it will be easier to identify the risk associated with a given application. ठीक है जी, समझ आया point? अगला है CDCI will come up with the custom loan products. First loss default guarantee. What is it? So NABARD is expected to help design new products, for example home loans, possibly with first loss default guarantee, a guarantee that cover earlier losses, so lenders are incentive aligned and customize MSME friendly loan product. So it says that कि अगर आप लोन ले रहे हैं तो उस केस में कहा जाएगा कि अगर आपका लोन जो है फर्स्ट लॉस की जो डिफॉल्ट गारंटी है, that will be provided, which will somehow incentivize the lenders to provide the loan to the individuals with low credit ratings as well. Moving on to the next, CDCI, it will be integrated with the with the core banking solution, that is centralized online real-time exchange. All amalgamated RRBs will mitigate to a common CBS, unified IT stack, single platform solution. Last is NABARD role is helping RRBs to adopt new technologies, training, upskilling, monitoring, as well as implementing standardized operating procedures, integrating other government data stacks so that RRBs can perform in a competitive manner in the current technology world, or in the current world full of technology. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया, समझ आ गया. CDCI क्या है? It is a common digital credit infrastructure which will be launched by NABARD. It will be utilized by all the RRBs in order to digitalize the process of lending in case of RRBs. Let's try to solve a question. Consider the following statement regarding the CDCI. CDCI platform is designed to digitize and automate loan processing for regional rural banks. True, it was launched as a part of one state, one RRB. Is this point correct? Yes, we can include this, nothing to worry. This the platform will also provide housing loan. This platform will also provide housing loan with first loss default guarantee and MSME focused customized products. That is true. It will NABARD will integrate all the amalgamated. That is true. CDCI excludes connections with external. No sir, ये तो connections बनाने पड़ेंगे तब जाकर application approvals, risk assessment that can be done. So answer is going to be A option. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the correct answer. अगली न्यूज जल्दी से पढ़ेंगे, इसमें कोई ज्यादा दम है नहीं. द न्यूज सेज RBI has imposed 21 lakh rupees of fine on PhonePe. We all know that PhonePe is not a bank. PhonePe is not a bank, rather it is a fintech. So how RBI can charge penalties? Or RBI can charge penalty on this fintech as well because it is regulated under Payment and Settlement System Act 2007, and according to Payment and Settlement System Act 2007, RBI is the regulator of payment system in the country. So due to that position, being a regulator of payment system in the country, RBI has imposed penalty on PhonePe. So penalty has been imposed by RBI. It has been imposed on PhonePe. Penalty amount is 21 lakh. Period of inspection is October 2023 to December 2024. Reason is non-compliance with the RBI regulations on prepaid payment instruments. So what are the reasons? If I talk about the reasons, first one is escrow account shortfall. We all know that when two parties, they maintain an account with the third party to safeguard their funds, their assets, in order to complete a contract and in order to add on a surety, that yes, both the parties, they will fulfill the obligation. If any party fails, this escrow account will help the other party to achieve the claims. So this is basically escrow accounts. So these escrow accounts, they are maintained by PhonePe as well to complete the interbank transactions, to complete the UPI transaction settlements. So end of the day, balance in PhonePe's escrow account was lower than the value of outstanding prepaid payment instruments and payment due to merchants on certain days. So what it says that PhonePe is issuing the wallets, PhonePe is issuing the prepaid payment instruments, PhonePe is providing the payment services to the merchants. So if I am a PhonePe user and my customer has made a payment, through UPI platform, then this particular payment which has been credited to the merchant through the UPI platform will not directly reflect into the merchant's account. First, it will go into the PhonePe's account and then it will be settled down as per the requirements. But in order to complete these transactions, PhonePe is maintaining an escrow account, and escrow account balance should be always and always equal to or greater than the liabilities of PhonePe. So what are the liabilities of PhonePe? So the liabilities are value of outstanding prepaid payment instruments issued by PhonePe first. Second is payment due to merchants, the payment which PhonePe is due or PhonePe is supposed to pay to the merchants. That should be that is the total liability, and that liability value or the deposits in the escrow account should always be greater than the liability value. So it was not there, or the condition was breached. So that is the reason this penalty has been announced. Second is reporting failure. PhonePe did not immediately inform RBI about this shortfall violating and compliance norms. एक तो भैया चोरी, ऊपर से सीना चोरी, मतलब आपने एक तो कंप्लीट नहीं की वो रिक्वायरमेंट्स, ऊपर से आरबीआई को इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया. अगर आरबीआई को इन्फॉर्म कर देते स्टिल पेनल्टी शायद ना लगती या कम लगती, लेकिन अब पेनल्टी लगी है और वो कितने की है, दैट इज 21 लाख. क्यों ये न्यूज आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है? बिकॉज फोन पे होल्ड्स द मेजॉरिटी मार्केट शेयर ऑफ इंडियाज यूपीआई मार्केट. अगर हम यूपीआई मार्केट की बात करें, 47% ऑफ यूपीआई मार्केट शेयर, 47% of the UPI market share is with none other than PhonePe. Let's try to solve a question. RBI imposed a monetary fine of 21 lakh rupees on PhonePe Limited. Correct. The penalty was imposed under the provision of the Payment and Settlement System Act 2007. Correct. The shortfall in PhonePe's escrow account balance was kept. Escrow account balance was the key compliance issue. That is true. PhonePe immediately reported. No sir, PhonePe has not reported the shortfall. The inspection covered the period October to December 2024. That is correct. So answer is going to be A option. Fourth statement is wrong. A option is correct. Doers Anuj, Vinu, Sonali, Sumedha, Shraddha, answers are correct. Moving on to the next news, I guess the last news of the evening. The last news talks about RBI has launched new microsite for banknotes. देखो, we all use the banknotes for our day-to-day purposes, and related to banknotes, we generally have n number of queries, we have n number of issues which we want to resolve. So in order to get the answers to all your queries, in order to get the answers, all the issues related to the banknotes, you were earlier allowed to visit a website which was known as paisaboltahai.rbi.org.in. But recently RBI has launched a new website which is known as indiancurrency.rbi.org.in, and this new website has replaced paisaboltahai.rbi.org.in. So why this website has been launched? To provide public friendly information on Indian banknotes. So what are the features? The first one is 360-degree view of banknote. User can rotate and explore the banknote virtually from all the sides, helpful for identifying genuine notes and distinguishing fake or counterfeit notes. If you get a note, you can check with the help of this. आपके पास एक नोट आपके हाथ में है, दूसरा वेबसाइट पे 3D फॉर्मेट पे नोट को देख रहे हैं और अपने फिजिकल नोट से मैच कर रहे हैं. अगर आपको लग रहा है anywhere if the conditions or the features are not matching, then you can claim it as a forged account or as a fake note or a counterfeit note. Details of the design and security, such as visual and textual explanation of the features like watermarks, security threads, and see-through registers, optical variable ink, micro lettering, they all related information is shared on this application. Multimedia resources, which include videos, audio clips, animations, which explain the note features. Then we have interactive games as well, which will help you to learn the features of the banknotes in a more, I would say, entertaining manner. Dedicated section on exchange of banknotes. It provides guidance on how and where old, damaged and mutilated notes can be exchanged. If you remember, in the month of April, if I'm not wrong, I guess so, in the month of April, we have discussed the process of exchanging your mutilated banknotes, even the conditions under which what amount will be paid by the bank and what commission bank will earn on providing these services on the behalf of RBI. All these things were discussed in the past. I hope it is very much clear to you. I hope it is very much clear to you. So related to that, अब उससे related जो भी information है, that is also available on this particular website only. Even the clean note policy rules, जिसमें नोट पर लिखना मना है. अगर आपने नोट पर लिखा सोनम गुप्ता बेवफा है, तो ये नोट भी बेवफा हो जाएगा. आज की डेट में no one is going to accept this note as a legal tender. So all these conditions, they are also mentioned on this particular website itself. So what will be the benefit? It will provide public awareness, financial literacy, digital engagement, as well as transparency. So earlier Paisa Bolta Hai, now it has been replaced by indiancurrency.rbi.org.in. Last but not the least is, according to the RBI's annual report 2024-25, the number of counterfeit notes detected in the banking system declined by 14% in comparison to the previous year data. Guys, kal 11 baje you have annual report part 2, so don't forget to join that session tomorrow at 11 a.m. Okay, moving on to the next point. Chaliye, the next point is a question on the same. So let's talk about the question. Consider the following statement about the significance of RBI's new microsite on banknotes. It helps in spreading the awareness about banknote security features to the general public. True. It supports RBI clean note policy by providing exchange related guidance. It is intended to replace digital currency like the e-rupee रिप्लेस डिजिटल करेंसी इनिशिएटिव, नहीं सर ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं है. It uses interactive games and multimedia through the microsite contributes to reducing counterfeit currency circulation. That is true. So A option is correct. Third statement is wrong. A option is correct. Third statement is wrong. Got it, guys? Okay, so that will be all from my side, guys, in this particular session. But if you want to revise the questions from the previous session, then stay with me, and quickly I will be flipping my slides so that you can take the screenshot for your homework questions. If you all are ready, just give me yes sir. I'll quickly showcase all the homework questions to you. Once we are done with the homework question screenshots, then we'll move on and we'll solve the questions from the last session news. Got it? Those who have not yet liked the session, guys, quickly hit the like button and be ready. I will be giving you 5 seconds to take a screenshot for every question, and I guess I have almost 6 to 7 questions today for which you have to take the screenshot. Ready? Chalo, here we go. First question. Second question. Third question. Fourth question. Fifth question. Sixth. Seventh. Chalo. Now let's quickly solve the questions from the previous session. First question, with reference to the 28th Universal Postal Congress, consider the following statement. It is a supreme decision making body of UPU and is held once every 4 years. 28th session was held in Dubai with the theme Leading Change, Creating the Future. Tariq Ahmed Al of UAE was elected chair of the Congress. India, a UPU member since 1874, offered its candidature for the Council of Administration and Postal Operations Council. The Congress adopted the New York strategy as a roadmap for the global postal services. Give me the answer, guys. देखते हैं कौन कौन सही आंसर दे पाएगा. ओके, अगर हम देखें फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ आर करेक्ट, बट द फिफ्थ स्टेटमेंट इज नॉट करेक्ट. फिफ्थ स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट क्यों नहीं है? व्हाट शुड बी द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर द फिफ्थ स्टेटमेंट, गाइज? द कांग्रेस adopted the New York strategy as a roadmap for global postal services. It is false. The strategy adopted is referred to as Dubai strategy. It's not New York strategy. It is known as Dubai strategy. तो उसके हिसाब से फिफ्थ स्टेटमेंट रॉन्ग है. ए ऑप्शन आपका करेक्ट आंसर हो जाएगा. करेक्ट. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. With reference to SEBI's reform for infrastructure investment trust, in September 2025, consider the following statements. So if I talk about the following statements, it says the minimum investment in the private placed infrastructure investment in the primary market has been reduced to 25 lakhs. That is true. Earlier, the minimum investment was 1 crore or 25 crore depending upon the asset composition. For individual, it was 1 crore. That is true. Related parties of the sponsor or manager are considered under the public category if they are QIBs. So the related parties of the sponsor or managers are considered under public category if they are qualified institutional buyers. That is wrong. SEBI has now clarified that related parties, even if they are QIBs, will not be considered as public unit holders. That is correct. A holding company can now adjust its own negative net distributable cash flows before distributing inflows from special purpose vehicles. That is correct. So keeping that in mind, B option is going to be the correct answer. Absolutely correct. Badhiya. 20th, Sharda. My first session is going to be on 20th for August and July. 20th on Saturday. Next, with reference to the objective and features of shore project, consider the following statement. So for this project covers the coastal states of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. That is true. It aims to conserve 30,000 hectares of seascapes. That is true. The project excludes, no sir, it includes plastic pollution. It plans to benefit nearly 1.2 lakh. It encourages private sector participation. True. So A option is absolutely correct. इस क्वेश्चन में क्या डाउट है? पहले 1 करोड़ था, अब उसे कम करके 25 लाख कर दिया. दैट इज करेक्ट है ना? उसमें तो कोई प्रॉब्लम है ही नहीं. मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूं आपको क्या डाउट आ रहा है. जो मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट 1 करोड़ की थी, अब उसे कम करके 25 लाख कर दिया. दैट इज ट्रू. 25 करोड़ वाला क्या पॉइंट आप जनरेट कर रहे हैं? नहीं, प्रीवियसली की अगर हम बात करें, प्रायर द मिनिमम अलॉटमेंट lot in the primary market for privately placed infrastructure investment was 1 crore or 25 crore. मैं आपको क्लियर कर देता हूं, प्लीज पे अटेंशन. पहला पॉइंट, प्रायर टू द मिनिमम अलॉटमेंट प्राइमरी मार्केट में, है ना. पहले अगर आप यहां से थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन अपना दूर कर लो, कंफ्यूजन जो हो रहा है. प्राइमरी मार्केट की अगर हम बात करते हैं, प्राइमरी मार्केट समझते हैं ना, जब प्राइमरी मार्केट में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स को इशू किया जाएगा एट दैट पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट. माय सोर्स इज बिजनेस स्टैंडर्ड. मैं आपको बिजनेस स्टैंडर्ड की सोर्स बता रहा हूं. प्रायर टू दिस अनाउंसमेंट, मिनिमम अलॉटमेंट लॉट, मिनिमम अलॉटमेंट लॉट, minimum allotment lot in the primary market for privately placed, primary market for privately placed infrastructure investment funds was 1 crore or 25 crores. ठीक है, सुनना. However, in an earlier round of reforms, the trading lot size in the secondary market had already been reduced. अगर आप secondary market की बात करेंगे, तो secondary market में जो trading lot size है, उसे already 25 लाख कर दिए. ठीक है, अब हुआ क्या है? ये जो amendment है, ये introduce कर रही है uniform minimum allotment in primary market for all the privately placed इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स, हार्मोनाइजिंग इट विद द सेकेंडरी वन. तो अब आपका प्राइमरी मार्केट में भी सेकेंडरी मार्केट में भी जो लॉट साइज है वो सेम है, दैट इज 25 लाख मिनिमम लॉट साइज. दैट इज अ न्यूज. ठीक है जी. तो ये सेकेंडरी मार्केट में 25 लाख था, जहां आप कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं. प्राइमरी में इंडिविजुअल के लिए मैक्सिमम 1 करोड़ ही था, 25 करोड़ था. कुछ कंडीशंस जो एसेट बेसिस कंडीशंस थी, आप उसको इग्नोर भी कर सकते हैं. इसको अगर मैं हटा भी दूंगा, नथिंग हैपेंस. लेकिन जो आप 25 लाख से कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू द सेकेंडरी मार्केट. सेकेंडरी मार्केट में मिनिमम लॉट साइज 25 लाख पहले ही हो चुका था. प्राइमरी में 1 करोड़ था, अब प्राइमरी में भी 25 लाख कर दिया. सेकेंडरी में ऑलरेडी 25 लाख है ही. क्लियर हो गई बात निहारिका? ये डाउट शायद आज मुझसे किसी ने टेलीग्राम पे भी पूछा था. अगर उन्होंने क्लास अटेंड की होगी तो उनको भी आंसर मिल गया होगा. ठीक है. Done? Chale. So that will be all from my side, guys. We'll be catching you all in the upcoming sessions to go. You have Manish Sir's session at 7 p.m. So don't forget to join his session. And tomorrow at 11 a.m. you have your annual report part 2. पूरे एक ही सेशन में पूरी की पूरी रिपोर्ट को कंप्लीट करेंगे. सो बी देयर ऑन टाइम 11 a.m. so that we can complete the entire annual report. और एनुअल रिपोर्ट के ऊपर जो MCQs हैं दैट विल बी presented to you I think 27th या 28th of September को. 27 सितंबर को इसी पे आपको MCQs भी मिल जाएंगे. सो नथिंग टू वरी. ठीक है. Thank you so much for joining, guys. If you haven't liked the session yet, quickly hit the like button before leaving. We'll catch you in the upcoming sessions to go. Bye bye. Take care. Good luck. God bless you.